Hello, it's Miss Karis, and today I am doing a top 10 reasons why video. This is going to be a part of my top 10 reasons video series, and this one is dedicated to my teachers, my fellow teachers and fellow choreographers. This one is entitled Top 10 Reasons Why your choreography might not be working, or your piece rather isn't really working the way you thought it would. It's just not coming together, and some reasons why that might be happening and how you can fix them, or at least what I've done in the past when I've come up against this. These are not in any particular order. So starting off with number one, song choice. Song choice is huge, right? When I'm picking a song, I definitely want to pick a song that I like, something that I'm interested in, something that I feel like I can choreograph to. But the next thing I think after that is, who is it for? What age group? And is this appropriate? I've seen it all the time. People do songs that might be too sophisticated for the kids, or the subject matter is a bit too adult, or the reverse, where it's an older group and maybe you have a song that seems a bit childish, or maybe something that just doesn't seem a right fit for their age. So definitely take a look at your song choice. Make sure it's dynamic. Make sure that it's not too boring. It doesn't kind of stay at one tone. You want it to kind of have ups and downs so it can lead you to create a more exciting piece. All right, so song choice. Number two, the choreography is too hard or too easy for your students. This happens all the time with me sometimes, right? So I have these ideas of all these steps that I want to do. And of course, I have the best dancers in the world in my head. So I create this piece, and then I go and I give it to my students. And if I haven't really thought about their ability, I realize it's not working. And that's my fault. You know, I need to think about what my students are doing at that point. So what I try to do is, like, let's say we're getting ready for a recital, okay? I think about what steps they have been doing all along, and what songs I have been using and how they have been working with them. And I try to pick a tempo that's, around the same level. If you think you can push the students and maybe do something a little bit faster. I've definitely been at fault for picking music that's too fast. So look at your choreography and what you're doing with it. And is it really appropriate for the students? Is it too easy for them? Are they looking bored on stage? Are they not putting in a lot of effort because it's easy? Or is it too difficult for them? So number two, choreography. Number three, not the right fit for your students. So this is really more about the overall piece, the overall meaning. Maybe it is something that is an adult subject matter, and you're doing it with really little ones. And maybe we're trying to make this like a statement piece. And I get that. I've done stuff like that. But when you step back and look at it and try to be objective, if you're feeling a little uncomfortable, if you're looking at it and you're listening to the music and you're looking at the dancers, sometimes you can feel like, I don't know if this was the right fit for them. Or maybe they don't understand it. Maybe it's totally age appropriate, but they don't get it. They're just not understanding the piece of it. And so therefore they can't really perform it well. Maybe this is not a great piece for this particular group. Number four, you don't know the choreography well enough. So, I have done this where I have, an idea, but it's kind of a broad idea, and I haven't really filled in all the little details. I know big steps that I want to do, but those little transition steps, or maybe I'm not really sure which arm I would like with that, or if I want the head this way, or if I want the head that way. So those little details you don't really think about, and you start teaching it and you're not really sure yourself what you're doing, and therefore you can't properly really teach it to them and communicate it to them. And I've had students that will fill in the blanks themselves if I don't give it to them, right? So if you have those confident students that will just say, well, she didn't tell me, which arm, whatever, so I'm just going to make it up. And then the problem with that is Now you've got some of the kids doing one thing, some of the kids doing other thing, and it looks messy. And that's because you didn't know it well enough to really communicate that to your students. So how well do you know your own choreography? That would be number 4. Number 5, which goes along with that, I have is the students are confused. You've seen this, right? You watch dances and you think, okay, students aren't quite getting what's going on here. They don't really know the steps all that well. That definitely can drag down a piece. You know, even if you have a really great song, the idea is really great, the costume is really fantastic, the piece won't work if the students are looking confused. So, right, so we got to make sure they understand what's going on. Number 6, reasons why your piece is not working. Spacing is off, right? The formations are not clean. This, you know, it messes with the eye. We like to see things that are symmetrical, things that make sense. And when, you know, I can tell this, I'm looking at a piece and I go, why does this not look, something just looks off. And then you stand on the side and you look and you see that the lines are messy, or, you know, the formation, the V isn't really a true V, or it looks more like a U, and blah, blah. So making sure that you're checking your formations and your spacing. Okay, number 7, reasons why your piece isn't really working. Maybe you're using moves that are kind of overdone and it's just looking kind of like, been there, done that. We've seen this before, right? Sometimes we have the steps that come from TikTok and stuff, and the kids always want to throw in those pieces. And, if you do it because it's trendy and it's fun and it makes your kids feel good, that is awesome. Getting them excited about their dance, that is fantastic. Plus, they know it, their non-dance friends know it too. So they kind of feel like they're incorporating them into it. But when you do that too often, I think sometimes it's just like, okay, everybody's doing this, and so it kind of gives you that kind of feel over the piece. So doing moves that are overdone. Number 8. Too much going on, right? So maybe you've got so many ideas, right? This is a really interesting piece of music. There's crescendos, and then it slows down, and then it picks up again, and so you've got 5 different groups on stage. A group over here, and a group in the center, and a group over there, and everybody's doing different choreography. In your mind, this makes total sense, right? We get this, how all of these steps go together. But when you step back and you look at it, right, somebody else might say, what is going on? It's just too much for us to take in. And for a non-dancer, it's really too much to take in. And that could make a piece, especially for non-dancers that can't appreciate the work that the students are doing and the work that you put into it, it just looks messy. And so therefore, it's not going to get well received. Okay, number 9. Improper use of props. This one, I've seen it like competitions a bit, right? And props, I love props. I think props are fantastic. I think everybody should be working with props from an early age. Learning how to handle something and dance, that's great. They can be fantastic additions to your piece, but they should be used right. What do I mean by that? Well, they should enhance the piece and not distract from it. So it should be something where the kids are using them. Maybe it's a small prop and they're dancing with it and it makes sense. Like if you're doing Mary Poppins and they have brooms, and they're being chimney sweeps, that makes sense. They're dancing with it. I even seen like a backdrop of supposedly like a castle. I think they were doing a Disney piece, right? And it was way in the back of the stage and it was just a giant castle. And it set the scene, and also the kids were going through it. They were coming in and out of it, so they used it. It looked really great. But times when props don't work are when the students are under-rehearsed. They don't know how to use it, so you can tell that they're being, they're dropping it, or they're not really sure how to hold it, or which hand it should be in, or they're having trouble executing the choreography because of it, so they're not rehearsed well enough. Or maybe it's a big piece, like you get a motorcycle on stage or something, and it's just sitting there off to the side, and the students aren't really using it. It can be a distraction. It can be confusing, why it's there if nobody's really interacting with it. So if you're going to use props, really, really plan it out. and really rehearse it with your students. That's what I do. I start really early on so that I don't run into that issue. And number 10 reason why. Choreography does not fit the song, and I also put down 2 interchangeable. So this is, this is like you're watching a piece and maybe there's crescendos in the music. Maybe the music gets quiet at some point, and the choreography doesn't really reflect that. Now, I'm not saying that you have to use your music in that way. It's your piece, it's your creativity. You do what you want to do. However, I think as humans, when we're watching something, we like things to make sense and line up. And when you hear, a big crescendo in a song and the dancer is just sort of casually drifting through it, sometimes it doesn't make sense, right? You want that dancer to do a big leap or a big turn or something to match. We want the music to try and match the song. I've seen it sometimes where I almost feel like didn't I see that dance, but it was to a different song? Like the moves are pretty much the same thing and it's not really matching the music, so you feel like you could just take that piece and put it to any song and it wouldn't really matter. And that also causes the audience to lose interest when it looks like the movement and the song are not matching together. All right, so that was top 10 reasons why a piece that you have created might not be working or well received. If you had stayed to the end of this video, thank you. Awesome. I hope you liked it. I hope you click and I hope you subscribe, because we're going to be doing more of these and you'll get notifications when we do more. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.